Thanks again, everyone, for joining us, and welcome to today's webinar titled, Is It Time to Redesign Your Website? Today, I'm going to walk you through 10 key points to think about when you're considering a redesign. So let's get right into it. Number one, does it serve and engage visitors' needs? First and foremost, are your users finding what they're looking for? You can look at statistics for the site and review your pages personally. The time it takes you to consume the content should correspond roughly with the results shown by your engaged visitors. If they leave your site immediately after scanning one page, they're likely not finding what they wanted or expected. This is a bad sign for future search engine results. Consider what they want and how they want to be communicated with. Do they want video? Can they find schedules quickly? Does your site deliver? Number two, how is the mobile experience? This almost didn't make the list because it should be evident, but just in case you haven't been paying attention to your analytics or basically the world at large, everything is going mobile. Sites should be built to be responsive, meaning to accommodate viewing from any site device, which data shows varies from fan to fan. The image on the left here is a desktop view. And you can see when you minimize the site with the image on the right, it's the same experience and content. A mobile app is also a great way to keep your fans engaged and can be customized to your branding. Scores and schedules are easy to find, and you can send push notifications to users with special offers, rewards, and information to keep them coming back. These images are part of the new app experience that we're starting to roll out. How important is it? As a company providing more than 1,400 different websites, we see it firsthand all of the time, and it's especially critical on game days. In a sample site view here, the orange lines are mobile visits compared to the 1.5 million users overall. You can follow the seasons and weekends too, and clearly see how important mobile traffic is to sports fans. Number three, does it accurately reflect your brand? As the communications hub and digital stadium for your fans, your website in many ways is your brand. Does it make the first impression that you'd want to make in person? Consider more than just the visual representations like colors, logos, and typography, but the language and communicative style as well. They are just as much a part of your brand as the images and should be aligned to where you are currently. This Tampa Bay site shows that kind of consistency and branding. Number four, does it incorporate current user expectations? User expectations have changed. A dated website reflects poorly on your program, and it can be revealed in the first appearance. Just like a sports fan can identify what year a team photo was taken by the uniforms, web and digital visitors can make snap judgments about your design. Visitors expect to accomplish more and more on your site when they arrive, and they can get irritated when they can't accomplish their goal. They're nearly as upset when they find themselves redirected to another site to complete their goal. In order to keep up with user expectations, here are a few design trends to keep in mind. Bold typography. Large and bold typography are a major design trend both in and outside of the athletics industry. Consider using larger fonts and strong typography for article headings and other focus elements above the fold. Minimalistic navigation is emphasized these days as well. Make use of subcategories so that there are minimal parent items in a site's main menu. Too many parent menu items can make navigating the site difficult. Some designs may even present the mobile hamburger icon on the desktop so that more focus is given to the content shown above the fold on page load. We'll talk more later about the importance of mobile navigation and buttons. Embracing the white space. Don't be afraid to increase padding and margins between elements. This allows the sections within the page more space to breathe and helps the end user easily navigate. If elements are spaced effectively, there's less chance of a fan feeling overwhelmed with the amount of content presented on the actual page. Can your fans also get updates, watch videos, or get everything else they want in one place? If not, can you remove the friction to get there or bring the desired task inside your site? You're putting all of this work into creating videos and producing live streams. So why not make sure your fans can find them, watch them, and share them? Harvard does a great job here. First, it's consistent with the brand, but then just 3 steps to get to all kinds of the video content, starting from the athletic landing page to the specific sports page to the actual video hub. Number 5, do search engines like it? If your site doesn't play well with search engines, you're wasting a lot of energy. The ability to be found should be near the top of your goals for your website. While the factors that impact rankings are continuously changing and volumes have been written about it, ensuring these 3 things at a minimum will help keep your site in good standing. Information accuracy, mobile friendliness, and ensuring you have SEO fundamentals like URL structure, page titles, and alt text for images. In your naming structures and everything else, think like your audience and use the language that they use, not insider lingo. In addition to content, mobile design matters to Google and should matter to you. Overall, simplify. For example, make sure your site is accessible and easy to use. Using buttons that you see here are easy for users to click what they want to click rather than using text links. Google will actually send alerts through the Search Console that links are too close together and difficult to click, which could impact your rankings. You can even add search functionality within your own site, keeping your visitors engaged and on your site. Number 6, can your team work with it? As mentioned above, new and fresh content gives visitors reasons to visit your site again. That won't happen if your site is difficult to work with and only the sole web ninja guru savant on your team can update the system. More and more people have a basic understanding of how to update on websites and blogs. Modern systems such as ours make it nearly as simple as working on a social media platform, something that nearly everyone in a communication role would have some familiarity with. Easy to use toggles and front-end editing make it intuitive and easy to use. Number 7, does it tell you what you need to know? While many still think of websites as simply a way to deliver information, there's absolutely no reason this shouldn't be a 2-way transaction. Your website is probably the single best way to get insight into your audience's likes, dislikes, what they want, and what they actually do. If you're sending email campaigns, see what bounced back. If you're running camps, know who registered. If you're hosting streaming video on your site, how do people find and get to the stream? What are the demographics of your audience? Do you feel that one is underrepresented? What are your best channels and what could you use to improve? Make sure that you are getting the data and analytics out of your site to give you the information that you need to get fans back to your site. Number 8, is the timing right from a resource standpoint? We know you don't have an off season, but the fact is that you don't want to make drastic changes in the middle of a sports season. And everyone likes to start the season fresh. Just like new uniforms, it can give programs a bounce in anticipation of something new. Coaches look at their first game and first official practices and work backwards to make sure they cover everything they need to accomplish. So should you when planning changes to your website. It's best to schedule major overhauls when the rest of your activities are relatively light to make sure it gets your full attention. Number 9, is it compliant? There are 2 major themes to consider regarding compliance: accessibility and privacy. Did you know that 19% of all Americans have some type of disability? Make sure that your site is up to date with current accessibility capabilities and that it is WCAG 2.1 AA compliant. A new privacy law is now in place in California and soon to extend across the US mean that you need to be aware of the information you're collecting and make your users aware as well. Make sure that you and your institution are covered. And finally, number 10, does it support your goals beyond communications? Every program is looking for more resources and control over their revenue flow. Does your website give you the ability to show sponsors you choose throughout the site? Who controls the flow of revenue? Additionally, does it allow you to incorporate other types of fundraising and social opportunities? A quick donate button from your homepage can help drive donations and sponsorship opportunities through an online form, with fans never leaving your branded website. You also have the ability to run your own ad space or place sponsorship opportunities for specific site features. If you are looking to monetize the site, there are a lot of ways to accomplish it without it looking too cluttered or busy. Larger national or regional partnerships with revenue share programs are also available for you to help reach company goals and fundraising efforts through your website. So if you do find yourself at a point where you think you are ready for a redesign, please reach out to our client success team. Myself and Kristen Foys will be happy to help you along with the process and answer any questions that you may have. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Anne-Marie. And we actually have had a few questions come in. So, Anne-Marie, if you want to jump on and we can field a few.
Sure.
So one thing that I think that a lot of people have been asking about lately, and you brought it up near the end, is the general topic of ADA. And we'll address the different questions that people might have after the webinar, because I think that some of them maybe need to be addressed one-on-one. But let's maybe address the sort of the main question now that people are getting at, which is how can I be sure that my site is ADA compliant? A lot of people have been asking basically a variation of that. So what would you tell them?
So, there are some free evaluation tools that you can use to check your pages. One that we use often is Wave, W-A-V-E, or webaim.com. In addition, there's a handy link in our help center about ADA, and really just letting you know how to address specific issues as they are alerted on those reports. You can also use the ADA checker that's right in our article rich editor, which will let you know if a page is compliant before you even publish it. But I would say overall, if you have any specific questions or concerns, you can get in touch with our care team anytime, and they can walk you through the whole process.
Okay. Another one that's kind of related to questions about ADA, and that's just general site usage. So, and here's a really good question about that. How can I tell what features my fans visit the most on the site in order to take advantage of those features if we were to redesign?
Yeah, that's a good question. So there are also here some free plugins or programs you can use to create what's called a heat map for your site. And that gauges over a specific amount of time where fans are clicking the most on your site. So this is something you'd want to do during the school year where you know your traffic is heaviest. A couple of sites that come to mind for that are Hotjar and Crazy Egg.
Okay, and we've got a few more questions, but here's the third one that came in. So for schools that are maybe considering a redesign now that they're getting ready to go into their spring season and summer is coming up, how long does a website redesign take?
Yeah, it can vary and really is driven by a few different factors. One of the main factors is responsiveness, client responsiveness, making sure you're getting us materials we need and basically responding in a timely manner to items. And that goes both ways as well. The other item is the time of year. There can definitely be a larger build queue during the summer months with clients wanting to try and launch by the start of the school year, but generally a redesign would take between 12 to 16 weeks.
Mm-hmm. If clients are looking to redesign soon, what would you tell them?
I would tell them to get in touch with me and we'll get that process underway. I think now is a great time to get started. They'll have plenty of time to review and can launch when it's ready to go.
Okay. So those were three of the some of the first few questions that came in. Anne-Marie, as you're looking at the Q&A log, anything you want to address?
don't see anything else there.
Okay, well, we can give people a couple more minutes if they have other questions. And if not, we will happily give people back time in the rest of their day.
So a question did come in, is there a closed captioning function for streaming webcasts? That's a good question. I know we have closed captioning for if you use a YouTube widget on the actual website. We do have closed captioning for live streams. We use a third party for that, and I can get back to you, Ashley, with some examples of those. But I'll have to double check on actual webcasts and how that would function. So one thing I did want to address too is, about 2 years ago, we did a full site build analysis and found that a redesign could take up to 80 hours of resources compared to a new site build, which was closer to 60. A main reason for this is that our sites are so customized that the front-end developer is spending a lot more time updating custom templates and files, making things ADA, all the while trying not to affect your current live site. So we do have a few different redesign packages based on what your site goals might be. We offer a core, pro, and premium redesign option ranging from $1,000 to $2,495. And again, please reach out to me directly, and I can get more information to you on each.
And of course, we'll be including your follow-up, your contact information in the follow-up, which you should expect to see next week. We did hear from a few people that we had some technical problems. We apologize for that. We will rectify that when we get the recording and send that out to you early next week. Anne-Marie, if you're not seeing other questions coming in, or if we want to give people a few more minutes, we can. But if you're not going to see other questions come in, then I think we could happily return the rest of the hour back to people.
Yeah, there's one more question. Should you do it all at once or in phases? We do suggest doing it all at once, but that does also involve various phases. So first you would have your design phase where you're working with our project manager to pick out what features you want, and then our designer would customize that site design for you around those features. And then it's the site build where everything's done in the back end by our front end developers, and you would not see any of that work until you're ready to review. And most often than not, you are not double posting anything during a redesign, because we'll use your current files to make those new features work as well. We do have another question. Does SID help sites have the ADA checker tool? I do not believe SID help sites have that feature. That's part of our article rich on the Presto Sports platform, but I will double check that, Mark, and see if there is any other tool available similar to that.
And of course, we will be following with people individually after the webinar regarding their questions, but it's a good thing to address. Well, Anne-Marie, if you're not seeing other things come in, we can certainly wrap this up and give people back the rest of their afternoon. Folks, what you can look for us is early next week, a copy of this recording and some of the supplemental materials that Anne-Marie mentioned. And of course, we'll have her contact information along with Kristen Foy's, her colleague. Should you have any questions about the redesign process, they can certainly field them for you and get you moving along should you wish to pursue that. Anne-Marie, any closing thoughts?
No, just thanks everyone for joining, and please feel free to reach out if you have any more questions. I'm happy to set up a call and go through the process with anyone at any time.
Absolutely. And folks, we thank you for your time, and you can look for the recording and some follow-up materials early next week. Thank you, and have a great rest of your day.
Thank you.